Well, it's nice to get out on the practice field after a win. Just the whole mindset, the makeup, the smiles, the attitude out there on the field. It just everything gets a little bit looser after a win. We gave them Sunday, Monday off. Came back out here today. Really, we didn't put on pads. We just went in shorts, but really got after it and had a pretty spirited practice today. A lot of competitive things with one-on-one pass pro, with two-on-two pass pro, with a lot of the pass skill, getting a good 30-minute work on pass skill in the passing game and the coverages, which has probably been two of the biggest things that we have to work on during this open date. So I thought it was a great attitude out there. I love the way that they worked. We've got two quarterbacks that are competing. They're rolling about every 4 plays. We're going to let them compete this week, and the best quarterback is the one that needs to play. We've got to put ourselves in a position to put the best people on the field that give us the best chance to win against Miami and going down the stretch here in the final 3 games. So, like I said, just love the attitude, love the way that they're out there working and getting better. We're going to make the most of this open date.
Does the fact that Bobby Eveld went down 2 years ago and helped beat Miami mean anything to you in this situation?
Not right now. No, it's going to be who's the guy that goes out there and is playing the best. And if the guy that's playing the best is Matt Floyd, then Matt Floyd will be our quarterback. If that's Bobby, then it'll be Bobby. And I don't think you can say, well, Bobby played down there, so you're going to go ahead and play him. I think it's all going to be predicated here over the next 3 days.
How much, the fact that Eveld was redshirting, how much does that play into it in terms of preserving that, or is that not a big deal?
No, I mean, right now, as the head football coach, I got an obligation to put the best people on the field to help us win. I mean, I've got one of the reasons that I told Bobby that I was going to try and redshirt him if I could was because I think he could benefit from a redshirt. But at the same time, I told him if I could. I told Lindsey Lamar the same thing. And the next week, Marcus Shaw was out for 4 to 6 weeks with an ankle, and we had to pull it off. And, there's no guarantee that we pulled Lindsey's off on the second game that he was going to get to play 11. There's no guarantees in this game, and so I think right now what we have to do is we have to put the guy in there that's going to give us the best chance to win. I think we've got that obligation to our players, to our administration, to our fan base.
Is it important that you name a starter at any point, or could you wait until game day and just kind of let them know, at least make it public on game day?
I don't know. Let's see. I'll probably go through this for 3 days, and let's see if there's a clear defined. If one of the two are clearly defined the starter at this point, then I would name a starter and say, okay, this is the one. He's going to get all the reps, and let's get him ready to go. If it's still pretty balanced and still pretty even, then I'll probably continue to let him compete maybe another day or two. I don't know yet. I haven't gone that far. I'm just kind of biting into these 3 days that I told both of them we're going to let them compete for the next 3 days, and let's see where it is, and then we'll go from there.
Skip, you'd addressed some of the larger injuries, the guys in boots and crutches and stuff. I want to ask you about some of the other ones, like Bivens, like Montgomery.
Montgomery should be fine. He has an AC joint, should be fine. He was very limited with his motion. Went out there, practiced today. Still a little bit limited, but we've got this week to get him healthier. Bivens should be okay with his knee. Started to practice today. It was irritated, kind of the outside. It's not the ligaments or any of those. All those, the ACL and everything is intact. So it's like a bruise on a tendon on the outside. So I think he should be fine.
Logist?
Logist is an ankle. I mean, again, we've got enough guys right now with an ankle. That seems to be the injury of choice for this season.
Right.
But with an ankle, you just don't know, on how it's going to respond and how quick you can get the swelling and the soreness out of it. Hopefully we can get a couple guys back for this week. At the end of this week, I'm expecting Mark Popek, Dana Sestanor, Willie Davis, Cavalieri. There's a number of guys that should be back after this week. So hopefully we can spend this week getting a little bit healthier as we get ready to go down the stretch.
What did you see from the defense the other night that might account for the improvement?
No, I thought we were much more aggressive. I think we were much more aggressive with what we did, schematically. As I talked about, there would be some changes schematically, and there would be some changes personnel-wise. And we did both of those. We changed some of the things that we were doing, and then we're kind of back to basics this week with being able to make sure that we can fit in our zone coverages and those type of things. I thought today, from a secondary standpoint, this was probably as good as it's looked. from a pass coverage standpoint. I thought they did a really nice job today. But I think in the game Saturday, it was probably much more, we mixed it up. I thought Chris Gosh did a much better job of mixing it up and putting man coverage in and bringing some, not just zone blitzes, but some pressure blitzes with some man coverages. And I thought he did a nice job with it. And I thought the players kind of fed off that energy. They fed off that energy, having the opportunity to play on our toes rather than on our heels.
And when you look at your offense, obviously you don't have Lindsey, BJ. I mean, going further back, you don't have Sterling, and there's a lot of guys who are out. I mean,
right.
Schematically, you have to tweak and change kind of how you attack the defense now with these new pieces.
Well, you've got to be able to do what you can do. It's not a matter of watching film and saying, "Wow, look at what Notre Dame did," or what NC State did, or what some of these other teams might have done against them. You've got to be able to look at it and say, "Okay, what can I do with the quarterbacks that I have, with the receivers that I have, with the running backs that I have? What are our strengths?" And that's what you've got to try and do in a football game like this. You've got to make sure that you're having the opportunity to play right-handed. Let's not put our players in positions where they're playing, left-handed. Let's give them a chance to play with their dominant hand. And I think that's going to come down more to calling offensive plays than just schematically rolling the ball out and doing a little bit of everything. I think you got to make sure that you can execute it with some of the younger guys that are having to step in. Again, we've talked about that offensive line with the youth up there, and what they're able to do. We can't probably become one-dimensional. We can't just run the same play over and over and over again because it works once. We're going to have to be able to mix some things up, and I think the run, the play action pass, the drop back, the screens, draws, delays, different formation packages, different personnel packages, I think all that's going to be important in this game.